Hi my lovelies, how are you all keeping, guys? I'm loving you having you all here. I do have my little thingy of juice and I am really excited to talk to you guys all about fragrances today. Please stay tuned and let's talk about our new samples that we've gotten. As you all know, we're making our way through 65 fragrances, so I cannot wait to have you guys in this journey. Now, today we're going to be starting with the first fragrance in this selection, which is Shaghaf Oud Tonka. I actually forgot to open this and now my hands are all rummaging and trying to open them as we go. Shaghaf Oud Tonka, as we all know, is famous for being a close dupe of a one-on-one dupe of a Tom Ford fragrance. I forgot the name of it now. It is Tobacco Vanilla. How could I forget? This fragrance is a tobacco galore, tobacco, cinnamon, vanilla, cloves. Okay, let's walk it through. So you have tobacco leaf, cinnamon, ginger, black pepper, and then you have vanilla, cloves, star anise, tonka bean, cacao, and incense, and in the middle you have tobacco, dried fruits, and woody notes. I was really surprised when I placed this on that I had to come kind of close, but it actually has settled in quite well and is projecting quite well. Now, I haven't probably worn this fragrance, it's just a first impression. So this fragrance is a tobacco heavy fragrance with a lot of cacao and vanilla and some incense and some dried fruits. In the years of me smelling tobacco fragrances, this is definitely one of the first tobacco fragrances I smelled, and when I first smelled it, the tobacco was so clear, but now it's so gender leaning, it's so unisex, it's so sweet. The tobacco doesn't even come off as strong as, you know, back in the days it did. This is one of those fragrances that definitely leaves an impression. I used to think this was a dark, mysterious fragrance. This is a fruity, light, sweet fragrance. This is a fun fragrance. It definitely has an air of mystery in it, but this is definitely it's a beautiful take on tobacco. And if I'm quite honest, in all my times of smelling tobacco fragrances, there still hasn't been a fragrance that hits the Tom Ford tobacco vanilla fragrance and in place this. Now, I haven't smelt them together and I haven't smelled tobacco vanilla in such a long time for me to be able to pull those similarities, but it's been decided by the fragrance communities that these are one-on-ones dupe. And you know what? I am not here to argue with that. But I do like this. I definitely feel like this fragrance has a place in my collection. I do not see a place that is a fragrance in my current collection that could take over what this fragrance can do. This is an easy fall fragrance. It's an easy an easy winter fragrance. I could even see you managing to pair it well during spring or even summer. If you lightened up with something else, it'll be a beautiful layering fragrance. This is a win for me. This is a definite win. I definitely liked it. The ginger actually pulls out, the black pepper pulls out well. This, I just have no complaints, and it's known for being long lasting and eternal. I think this was one of the fragrances that I just got because I think it was about time for me to smell it. In fact, I was happy to blind buy that fragrance because I knew I liked Tom Ford Tobacco Vanilla, and it is one of those iconic fragrance identities that you just kind of have to have. And you know what? This fragrance has not proven me wrong that I do not need to buy a bottle. I think definitely. Does it make me feel wow? Is it a definite love, like a rated 10 out of 10? No. Maybe an 8, maybe a 7, but to me that's still good enough for me to have, especially when performance and everything else is on the side. So yeah, that is a definite win. Next fragrance we have here is Marj by Ahmed Maghribi, and as you know, this is a take on Imperial Valley. And if you guys have been around my channel for long enough, I do have Imperial Valley. I think I did a first impressions a couple of months ago and I have since loved it, and it turns out that it just needed to settle in itself, and the patchouli note is completely gone. They're not heady anymore, and oh my gosh, I'm in love. During the end of summer, that's the fragrance I almost fought myself not to wear every day, since I only have a little 30 ml and you don't need a lot of it. So when people were saying this smelled like Imperial Valley, I didn't feel the pull to try it because I just feel like it's just a waste of time to try and fight with what you already have if you know you love it. And I have to say, it's not that I'm wrong, but this definitely takes a much lighter, a much fruitier, and a more, I don't know whether to call it incensey or to call it smoky take on that DNA. I'm almost dreading reading out the notes because there's about a million. In the top notes, you have honey, nutmeg, bergamot, elemi resin, oud, pink pepper, and tangerine. Definitely can smell the honey, definitely can smell the nutmeg, definitely can smell the oud, the pink pepper, and the bergamot, and the tangerine. In the heart note, you can smell cashmere wood, orange blossom, rose, saffron, jasmine, cinnamon, patchouli, and vetiver. The vetiver you can smell, but it's not as strong as Imperial Valley. You definitely have the cashmere, the rose, the white florals, yes, and the patchouli, definitely, but not as strong a patchouli as the other one. And then lastly, you have ambroxan, musk, raspberry, pear, saffron, oak moss, amber, ambergris, ambergris seed, leather, oud, sandalwood, violet. A lot of things there. I can smell the musk, I can smell the ambroxan, I can smell the ambergris, I can smell the oud, I can smell the sandalwood, I can smell the leather. And yeah, there is such a green note here that I'm kind of attributing to like a soapy. It's the jasmine. The jasmine is pretty strong, actually. Yeah, it's the jasmine. The jasmine is really, really strong. This feels like a lighter, fruitier version and more floral version than Imperial Valley. Imperial Valley is more citrusy, more dark, leaning into the leather and the cashmere wood. I definitely don't. I can understand if you can't get Imperial Valley to buy this, but now that I have Imperial Valley, I am gonna try and buy a 200ml bottle, the full bottle. It's just one of those fragrances that's hard to replace. But to be honest, this is the second favorite. I think if I was to rate it in terms of closeness, this would easily be an 80% fragrance, an 80% closeness test. If I didn't have Imperial Valley and I was to smell this, I do not think I would be sold on buying Imperial Valley. But the vetiver in Imperial Valley is so addictive, and I love a good vetiver, I have to say. And so in saying that, it's subpar for me. I think I would give it a 6 or a 7. Let's give it 6.5. Let's give it 6.5. Okay, next fragrance is Casablanca. Guys, I don't know how I've gone through all my career of smelling fragrances and I have not smelled Casablanca Swiss Arabian. When this came in, I had to smell it, and I just was asking myself, because for a long time I thought I was going to replace my bottle of Ebhar by Rasasi with Casablanca, because as we know, those are often said they're close, but everybody always says Ebhar is the better choice because there's a syntheticness of this fragrance, even though this lasts better than Ebhar. And Ebhar lasts me something like 6 hours. I think I've had it in my collection for 8 years now. 8 years, no, 2 years, but it lasts somewhat like 8 hours, but quite close to your skin. So I really wanted to replace it, but I do love my Ebhar fragrance. So now I was kind of like going back and forth, and I was like, okay, do I want to replace it with Casablanca, and will I be happy? I almost did press the button to do it without ever smelling it as a blind buy. So glad I didn't. So glad I didn't. These are like night and day. Literally, this would be day and Ebhar would be night. Ebhar is syrupy, is rich, is appley, it's vanillic, heavy vanillic. This is more appley, crispy, light, woody, and less vanillic and more grapey. It's so fruity and light. These cannot be replaced. I think it cannot replace Ebhar in my collection. Ebhar, I've loved it so much because I feel like it's also one of the best vanillas in my collection, and the more it's aged, the longer it lasts, but I just don't see myself enjoying Casablanca the way that I enjoy Ebhar. So in saying that, I definitely won't be replacing it. I also do not feel cold to get this in my collection. It's nothing insane, even though they say the performance is absolutely amazing. Maybe when I come back and do a full wearing of this fragrance and I do an update, I will feel very differently, but for now I don't feel differently. I do love my Ebhar. I do think this fragrance definitely has a place, but I feel like if you like your gourmands, if you like your sweeter fragrances, definitely Ebhar is the pick. The Casablanca is appley, grapey, light, crispy, woody in the kind of woody that you have in Greece, in Dior, Gris. Is it just called Gris? Gris Dior. Yeah, Gris Dior. That you have in Gris Dior, that kind of woody texture. And it's much more floral. That's my take on this fragrance. Yeah, the caramel doesn't really do much. The suede doesn't really do much. The Peru Balsam really doesn't do much on this fragrance. I don't know. That's just how I feel. That's how I feel. Okay, next fragrance is Watani. Watani by Wataniah. Guys, I only got this fragrance because I was curious because I couldn't find Watani Intense as a sample. So I got this because I wondered if they were close in DNA, because we all know C Chronicles raves on about Watani Intense, but I have not been able to find it anywhere. And then guess what? This is said to be a take on C. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And then someone also says it smells close to Kirke. Okay, it's complicated. So this is tropical. This is like a typical summery cocktail fragrance. No question about that. Yeah, no question about that. This is like carrot juice, pineapple, like really tropical fruit. And I think that maybe that's where the Herba Pura thing is coming from. And then you have some herbal notes. These are so vague. And then you have some sweet notes, some floral notes, some white musk, some sweet notes, and some amber. So I get why people are kind of saying Kirke, but like, no guys, this almost smells like in a heady patchouli way. Kind of close to Zena, but I wouldn't say it's as patchouli heavy as Zena. Like, this is beautiful. It's just not my type of fragrance. It just doesn't call anything in me. It is sweet, it is fruity, it is very floral, it is very designer leaning, but I definitely feel like this is also one of those fragrance DNAs that would be done up by a super niche fragrance house like Svazva or what is it, Simone Penroli, Simone something, Adrenoli. I don't know, Simone. But yeah, this is a beautiful fragrance. Now I haven't smelled, see, I don't like any of those fragrances, like those particularly like feminine leaning designer fragrances. I just find them too white floral leaning, and it's just not my type of fragrance style, unfortunately. So it's not one of those fragrances that if I never had, I would absolutely miss. I definitely can imagine someone enjoying this. This is an easy blind buy for like if you want to get a woman in your life a fragrance, especially if she's in her 20s, early 20s, and is looking for her first signature perfume. This is definitely it, no questions asked. It's so cocktaily, it's so fun, it's so wearable all year round. I just can see someone enjoying it. Unfortunately, it's not me. In terms of longevity, I haven't had an impression on it because I haven't worn it for long, but people are leaning that it says it's more closer to moderate, but it's moderate to eternal lasting. So yeah, I can kind of see that. I've heard C Chronicles say something similar, but we actually don't have a lot of the same experiences with perfumes, so I can't go and say, yeah, I believe what she says works for me, because it might not. Okay, and then one fragrance I was really excited to get as a sample was Shaghaf Tonka. This is, excuse me, like this is quite close to how I feel amber tobacco was supposed to be in my collection. This is a fragrance that I've just been postponing to buy, and quite honestly, it was because I was scared that because it's so close to Tonka, Velvet Tonka by BDK, that I would hate this, because I don't know if my nose has changed or what, but last time I smelled that fragrance, it smelled like old people's houses. Like the almond notes in there just did not do it for me. But guys, when I said I love this fragrance ever since I smelled it again, I'm in love. Like there is no old people house smell. I don't know how to explain that. I think it's just like one of those smells that like when you walk into a house that smells like that, you're like, oh yeah, this is what it is. But It's so specific. It kind of smells like a potatoey, like a dry potato powdery kind of fragrance, and a little bit nutty. But anyways, this is not what this fragrance smells like now. Honestly, I swear by the fact that there has to be some cherry in this fragrance. The tonka is beautiful, the cinnamon is beautiful, and the vanilla is beautiful, and there has to be some cherry. Maybe it's because I'm already imagining what this fragrance is going to pair well with, and there is no question it lasts and projects. Guys, I'm so excited to layer this and to get this, wear it on its own, but even more to layer it. I see myself layering it with Liam by Latafa. That one is the more risky layering combo, but for some reason I feel like they could really work well in terms of personality. And then I also see this easily working with Frenetic Delicios, and then also working well with After Effect, also wearing well with Kahila Luxe. And I feel like I have a lot more Tonka fragrances that would, oh my gosh, that cherry fragrance that I absolutely hated for a long time, Lush Cherry, I see this pairing so beautifully with that. Guys, I just have a bright future ahead of me when I get that fragrance. But again, I probably will wait until next winter to get it, because as you know, with some of these fragrances you have to macerate, and I would hate to get it at the end of winter and not be able to wear it. So I'd rather get it in the summer, or summer or fall, as I'm looking forward to winter. It is one of those baddie fragrances. I definitely feel like I would feel a lot like so beautiful with that fragrance on. And in fact, I feel like my bum will grow a little bit bigger just from having it, and even a bigger attitude than I have now. Not that I have a huge attitude, but I feel like whatever my attitude now, it's gonna go up. Okay, next fragrance is Bean Shake. Now we have been hearing a lot of people talk about this fragrance, guys. I have been so jealous of the people that got to smell this before me, and I had big dreams of what this smelled like. This has some saffron, some rose, some oak moss, some lavender, some citruses in the opening. Then you have some sugar, some bakur, some jasmine, some orchid, and some violet. And then you have some egarwood, some amber, some patchouli, some white musk, and some abroxin. Now, this is said to be a take on amethyst, or Badi al Oud amethyst and Oud folklore. This is very interesting. Okay. And it is long lasting. Like there is no question about that. Ahmed Maghribi, and this fragrance is so oily. Like, guys, wow. This fragrance does not really leave an impression on me. It smells like something I've smelled before. I want to get a sample of Royale by Shaghaf Oud, because I did a review of that earlier on, and I don't know, guys, it's not giving me close. I definitely feel like this has a little bit more personality than that. That one was quite green. This is not green, and they said that was close to Haltane, but I've never smelled Haltane before, and I have smelled Oud folklore, but in a long time. With what I have, I definitely feel like this might lean a little bit closer to Oud folklore, if that's what they're saying, but I can't really vouch for that, guys. This definitely smells like something you've smelled a million times before. The classic patchouli agarwood combination with some white florals, like and the saffron isn't even front and center in this fragrance, and there's some, and you know what, I'm hating the lavender and the citrus in this fragrance. I just don't know. I would have loved to have it a little bit more, have a lot more of those orchids and a stronger floral take. A lot of people love this fragrance, even aromatics love this fragrance, but I just don't know, guys. It's not leaving like a wow impression, you know, like it just is a lovely fragrance. I think I definitely see, maybe it's the case that I'm seeing this suiting better on a man just because of a lot of the lavender note, or someone who likes, you know, masculine leaning fragrances. But I think that lavender note would piss me off so bad that I just don't see myself going back. So yeah. And also people tend to say Oud folklore has a BR50 540 vibe. I don't relate to that take at all. Maybe it's just a saffron or something, but the saffron does not like it. I don't even think about it in this case. Yeah, this is more like of a strong agarwood take on my DNA, but again, it's not wow to me. It's kind of basic. I kind of feel like I already have this. I think what it has going for it is its longevity and how well blended it is, because it is a little bit intoxicating. I have to say, I'm already getting intoxicated by this fragrance, but I just wouldn't enjoy wearing it personally. I definitely feel like if you had Ouge for Glory, it's come to the point now you kind of have to pick one and stick to it. There's no point of having a million takes of that fragrance personally, just because it's not like a wow fragrance. But you can really appreciate that that fragrance allows you to wear it rather than it wearing you. So you can add a lot of personality because it's actually quite a palatable fragrance in the sense that it is not too challenging in any extreme way, or it doesn't have any strong feminine or masculine or kind of like implication. It just is maybe an oudi fragrance, but even at that, you can pair it well with a lot of things. You yourself can make it your own signature scent, and it would suit you so well just by being yourself. I really feel like that's what this fragrance is really good for. I'd be really interested to know, have you tried Bin Sheikh? Am I being a little bit hard on it? Maybe I need a full day of wear for me to really enjoy this fragrance, but for now, that's just where I'm at. I'm not too fazed by it, and I'm absolutely just gonna keep it honest with you all. Until next time, guys, let me know what you think about this fragrance. Does anything call to you? Until next time, bye.